Hi there. In our devotion today, I want to take you to the book of Exodus, chapter 33, and few verses in chapter 34. In chapter 33, there's a conversation between Moses and God was talking to him. And this is what Moses desired. In verse 13, he said, "If you are pleased with me, teach me your ways, so I may know you and continue to find favor with you." The desire of Moses is to know God, and by knowing God more, he can learn about the ways of God. And not only to learn the ways of God, but he also wants to find favor with God. His desire was to understand who God is, and he wants to know more of him. He is the one who called him to lead the people of Israel from bondage into freedom. And so God promises him what he desired in verse 14. He said, "My presence will go with you." And Moses was not satisfied with that answer. And verse 18, he asked more of God. This is what he said: "Now show me your glory." Moses' desire to know God increases day after day. He just wants to learn from God and he wants to know more of God and his ways, and then he wants God's presence to go with him. And then more than that, now Moses wanted to know and see the glory of God. So, what did God do? In verse 19, it says, "I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion." But he said, "You cannot see my face, for no one may see me and live." So there's a limit that God puts here, is that I can show my presence to you, and more than that, I can teach you. And more than that, God said, "I will show my glory to you, but you cannot see my face and live." So Moses wanted to know more of God. And he said in verse 22, "When my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft in the rock, and I'll cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will remove my hand, and you will see my back, but my face you may not see." So God's desire is to reveal himself to people, but the people needs to desire more of God. In chapter 34, the conversation continued to go on, and God told Moses to bring two tablets chiseled out and bring it to me, and I will write the commands on it. And Moses did it, and he brought that before God, and God begins to reveal himself to him more. In verse 5 of chapter 34, this is what it says: "Then the Lord came down in the cloud and stood there with him and proclaimed his name, the Lord. And he passed in front of Moses, proclaiming, the Lord, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children and their children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation." So God was revealing more about him. He is not only the Lord, he is a compassionate God, he is a merciful God, he is abounding in love, he is faithful. And then he says, "I am also a God who forgives, but I am also a just God. I will not leave people unpunished." Because he is a just God, he is revealing himself fully to Moses. So, what did Moses do? If you read it in verse 8, Moses bowed to the ground at once and worshiped the Lord. "O Lord, if I have found favor in your eyes," he said, "then let the Lord go with us." So God was revealing more to Moses, is because Moses was hungry for the presence of God in your life too. If you want to know more of God and willing to learn from God, be teachable so that He will be able to reveal a lot of things about Himself to you. The best person to learn from is the Holy Spirit of God. When it comes to the New Testament, the purpose of giving the Holy Spirit of God to the church is to make known about who God is, who Jesus is to the church. And so get to know the Holy Spirit of God, and He will reveal a lot of things about God, because the Spirit of God knows the mind of God. And you can learn so much from the Holy Spirit of God. I pray this morning that you have a hunger in your heart to know more of God, just like Moses did. God is willing to teach. Are you willing to listen? Listen to the Lord and grow more in Him spiritually. God bless you today.